Good evening, Phil. And tonight we are going to do a very short video just to show you the importance of the use of quartz crystal stone in ancient structures. And for that we have a few samples that we want to share with you and show you how much crystal is within these stones actually and what applications they might have within the various types of engineering that include magnetics, they include reflection, they include frequency, they include all the stuff that we have been talking in our spaces within the X, and we are now going to show you by images. Good evening, Phil. Thank you for being with me tonight.
Good evening, sir, and thank you very much. And what an exciting time for the Institute to be able to show the actual layers of quartz content that were produced here, where we can apply piezoelectric, and not only that, what the frequencies, modulation, and how they are amplified vary into how we're going to look at the actual stone this evening. I think this is very applicable. So where do we begin on this exciting journey, Rick? Absolutely fantastic.
I'm going to start with a very small sample of stone, as you can see here that I'm showing, and I'm going to show it from the side, and you can see that it's layered. I'm going to show it quite close. It's completely layered, and you don't see any crystal in it, right? It doesn't seem to have any crystal content. However, if I just turn it slightly and start capturing the light, you start to see that it's completely covered in crystal, and this cover is all over each layer of this stone. So if I peel this stone by each layer that you can see in the image, it will be exactly the same as the top that you can see here. I hope you can see what I'm talking about. You see the reflection?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so for anyone that's saying, okay, it's just that stone. Okay, you see this stone? I'm going to show you one that is completely different. And this one is even smashed to pieces because when people were working on it, they broke it. As you can see, it's completely irregular, so it has lost a fair bit of its surface. And again, when you see it by the side, you don't see anything in special. But if I start to turn it, it's like a gem.
Absolutely insane for the amount of quartz crystal content within the mineralogy of that stone.
I'm trying to capture the light in order for you to actually see what we are talking about. But
yeah,
every single layer of this stone,
and that goes all the way through the layer of the stone.
If I hit this stone, in here with a hammer, it will slice like you slicing a bit of, I don't know, wood with a saw or anything like that. No matter how you cut it, it will have exactly the same reflection, the same amount of quartz. It's all over the stone. You just can't see it from the side because it's polished from the saw that cut the stone. Again, I will show you another one that is completely different. You see, this one you can see the layers. And again,
looks like nothing, but look at the top of it. That runs directly through the stone as a crystal quartz content. So imagine the applicable piezoelectrical content to the stone that we're seeing from the side that actually could have been highly different when you were viewing it at a different aspect when the stones were pressed on top of it.
So I have yet another one. I have yet another one to show you. This one, you can see the layers also on the stone. I don't know if you're familiar with schist. It's the stone that I'm trying to tell you the name before. It's schist. This is not schist. This is some type of granite. But schist, what happens with schist is you can peel the stone layer by layer by hitting it. And in this type of stone, like the sarsen stones that we are going to talk this week on our spaces, it's the same thing. You can layer it. I've seen the man, where I took these samples from, I seen the man working the stone, and they hit it with a hammer in specific places, and they peel off layer by layer, and each one of them is exactly like this one. Look at that. It's completely. It looks like varnish, but there is no. I assure you, there is no varnish whatsoever in this stone. It's completely natural,
Yeah,
exactly as it can
all
be
the
in the
way
quartz.
through.
Now, imagine this stone as in the place that we talked many times as the candelabras of Paracas that not many people know of. So imagine this in a
Yeah, it's a huge lighthouse basically in Peru
yeah,
that oncoming
it's a
ship traffic could have seen, and it would have lit up basically the beach side. So, what happens if we apply a light to that style stone, Rick?
yeah, exactly. So what they did in the candelabras of Paracas, that is about 50 kilometers from the Nazca lines, just
Yeah.
just into the sea, and it's on the hill that behind it there is a natural cove where ships would dock. So during the day, the sun will hit this massive geoglyph on the hill that facing the sea, and the descriptions that we have today say that it was looked like the land was on fire. You could not. It's so bright you could not look at it. As soon as you cross the horizon line, many miles away, you start to see this figure, this geoglyph that seems to be all in fire. And during the night, what they did, and there's still some holes showing that, they would put torches on the structure, and the torches would be reflected by this, and anyone would see it again as a massive flame from the distance. So this is just one of the applications of this type of stone. Look, it to me is just mesmerizing how in fact my hands are now completely filled with quartz, exactly as we seen in the ground in Panoias, where we think
Indeed, yeah.
it was a facility.
Almost like they were producing that quartz for a reason,
Exactly.
you know.
As it was
But could that have been for lighthouse purposes? You know, you've got the likes of the Egyptians that use faience glass that have been replica versions of specific more ancient technologies that came before that, you know. And when quartz content and applicable factors were used in that, aren't frequencies now a subject point that should be studied alongside these ancient hallmarks, no matter what, when quartz really is a technological factor that should be studied, isn't it, really?
The fact is, it's not that far-fetched. If you think that this quartz exists all the way through the stone, and you can scrape it, as we've seen on Panoias, you can scrape it, and then you piled it on those boxes and compress the crystal, it will remain crystalline, it will remain transparent, and if you find a way that by compression to agglomerate all the crystal without the stone particles that are among the, because this is about, in this case, I think that the crystal content is about 70% of the stone. So it's huge. If you imagine that in the king's chamber of the pyramid, the content is about 50 to 55% of crystal. So this is even higher content. If you could scrape it and you put it on those boxes that we've seen with a lid that has a massive weight putting on all this crystal dust that will not turn opaque, they will remain crystal clear, and you will compress it, you create massive cubes of crystal that then could be worked either to make gems, to make reflective material, to make mirrors, to make whatever you wish.
Frequency generators, frequency orientated devices,
Exactly. As you
all
used today.
sorts of different
Exactly as you
outputs.
used them.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's
Almost factories to the quartz, you know. And we're proving that from exactly what we're looking at on our spaces every Sunday night through the quartz content and exactly what we were looking at in the ancient world, aren't we, Rick?
and to prove that, I'm gonna turn my lamp on, and you see as soon as I hit it with light, you couldn't even see anything because the bright is so strong. Look, it's so strong you cannot see, and this is the irregular.
It's almost like a lighthouse, or if you just put that anywhere, it would literally, and this is with just a shining a light on it. Can you imagine what it's capable of around that, you know?
It's the
It's
reflection.
absolutely massively significant, Rick, what they were capable of doing with that quartz content.
Using
No,
3 different stones, and the result is exactly the same. The amount of reflection capabilities of this, and you see why I think you can see now why we're saying that this could be used in lighthouses, they could be used as mirrors, they could be used as signaling
Well,
objects.
lighting anywhere with just relative piezoelectrical output knowledge, you're going to know how to use reflective knowledge. It'd be idiosyncratical not to think that they could apply lighting to specific quartz to light up subterranean levels now, you know, and passageways could be harmonious or harmonious to specific different outputs, engineering, learning, schematics, engineering, libraries of knowledge. You know, the opportunities are endless. Rick, it's been an honour speaking to you on the Institute for Natural Philosophy again and studying yet again the physical evidence that's applied not only to the ancient world, but how we're now going to apply the frequencies to the physical evidence. Thanks once again for having me. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much, Phil. Take care. To all, a very fond farewell.